When I got notified that this package got delivered, I literally ran to my mailbox. Y'all, GLAMLITE sent over their brand new Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 collection. I literally frolicked to the mailbox. I don't think I've ever done that before. So you guys want to see what this entire collection is all about, what type of eye looks I create with this, and what my thoughts are, well then definitely keep watching. Okay, so first off, this is going to be the PR box right here. She's kind of heavy. She has a little bit of heftiness to it, but it is because it is a 3D lenticular motion wedding box. So right here, you guys do see Bella and Edward, and then when you kind of move it over, you do see Bella and Jacob. My man.
Right.
And I just think it's such a cute little detail. You unlock it right here, and then you open up, and you are going to see the Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 GLAMLITE Wedding Box. Now, I'm going to set this down because this is pretty heavy. But what I will say, this is such a cute little box. So this actually came pretty much with a full collection. I am missing one item, but I'll go into that in a minute. But first off, they put a little wedding card in here. It says the Cullens, Bella and Edward. And then on the back, it does talk about the Breaking Dawn GLAMLITE collaboration, which I think is absolutely super cute. I love the little breakdown. It says, celebrate the forever love of Bella and Edward with the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 X GLAMLITE collection. From ultra blinding highlights and shimmers to the velvety high pigmented romantic shades, a rich ultra gloss lip kit, sparkling body butter, and a delicate hand mirror that captures the forever love found in Twilight. Super, super, super cute. I was surprised because I said in my new makeup releases that I did not think the bag was included. I was wrong. Typically, the bag is usually not included in the PR boxes, but you guys were like, Allie, it is. Pay attention. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. Because y'all, here it is. So this is going to be the makeup bag. And then we also have the hand mirror in here, followed by the highlighter, the lip kit, and of course, the Jacob palette and the Edward palette right here. Now, the only thing I am missing is that body butter spray, but that's honestly okay because I'll just use like my one size glitter spray for today. But I have to say, this is definitely a keepsake. Like, this is definitely a keepsake. This is so beautiful. This has a nice, she said satin, but I think it's silk, and you can have like the little clippy, and it came with the little like envelope seal right here. This is super beautiful. This is definitely a collector's key. Like this is definitely a collector's item or a keepsake. You can put so many different things in here, and I think it's amazing. Here's the mirror right here. First off, I think the packaging is super cute. And when you open it up, like, I love the fact that it is a 3D lenticular motion. So again, you're going to see Bella and Edward. And then when you move it, you're going to see, again, Bella and Edward. This is a really pretty mirror. I love GLAMLITE mirrors. I use them all the time. I think the one I use the most, honestly, is probably my Jason one because it always sits right here on my desk. I think they make fantastic mirrors. I know they're great collector's items for sure, but I just think this is so, so pretty. Next, we do have the makeup bag right here. So this is a 3D lenticular motion bag. So you're going to have Bella, then you're going to have Edward, Bella and Edward. On one side, you're going to have just a little spot right here. You can store some kind of flatter items right here. But then on the back is where you're going to have that nice, decent sized space. It fits so many products in here. It does come with a strap in case you want to utilize this as a purse, but you can fit so much in this makeup bag. I really do love the GLAMLITE bags. My favorite though is probably the Garfield one, is my personal favorite, and the Scooby-Doo. I use those every single time I travel. My Ghostface one, I think it's more, my Ghostface one I used during the Halloween season, but now I have something to use whenever I am traveling, just a little bit bigger bag. I think this is freaking adorable. I'm so glad. Like I said, I did not expect to get this just because typically it isn't in any other collection that I've received before. So I'm really excited. Okay, so the only thing that I did not receive in my collection is going to be the Reserve Twilight X GLAMLITE Vampire Skin Spray. So this right here, this says inspired by Edward's luminous skin, this GLAMLITE X Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 Vampire Skin Spray adds a touch of magic to your body and hair, leaving you glimmering with immortal brilliance. It does retail for $18. Like I said, I did not receive that in here, and honestly, that's okay because I will just use my one size glitter setting spray. But now we're going to move on to the star of the show, which is going to be the Edward and Jacob palettes along with the lip kit and highlighter. So up first, we do have the Team Jacob palette right here. This says, embrace the raw, untamed spirit of Jacob Black with the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 x GLAMLITE Team Jacob palette. A tribute to the rugged warmth and earthy tones of the film, this 15-shade collection offers a rich array of neutrals and earthy hues, perfectly reflecting Jacob's connection to nature and his wolf lineage. This deeply pigmented, blendable formula makes it easy to create versatile looks from a natural daytime style to smoldering, fierce evening glam. Now, this is the second time that they have used this type of packaging. I originally called it a while ago when I saw little teasers saying that it was going to look like the Halloween Part 2. I love this style packaging. I think it's so beautiful. It definitely is a little more on the smaller size right here. I love to see Jacob's face, and then when you open up, you are going to have the Team Jacob palette right here. Super beautiful. Again, this is another lenticular motion palette. You can see Jacob's wolf, and then you can see Jacob's wolf, the wolf, Jacob, wolf, Jacob. Now, I have to say, this color story is absolutely beautiful. This is a perfect neutral palette for all of my neutral lovers out there. So beautiful. Now, Giselle did say in her stories that she was inspired by this color. She was inspired by La Push for this color story. So that's kind of what she emulated in this, trying to capture the essence and the beauty of La Push into this palette where Jacob and his pack resides. I think it's really beautiful. Now, so many of you guys actually were commenting on my community post and over on my new makeup releases that you guys felt that this looked very similar to the Nightmare on Elm Street. I actually do have a comparison of this right here, just so you guys can see how they do look they do look a little similar, but different at the same time. So this is the Nightmare on Elm Street right here. So this is going to be definitely a more green tone palette. Then you're going to have the Team Jacob palette. As you guys can see, there are some similar shades for sure, but they're also different. Like they're also just a little bit different. I'll put a little bit closer up right here so you guys can see. There are some shades with the greens, but even the greens have different undertones to them. I'll go ahead and pop in the screen of the swatches right here so you guys can also see how they are definitely pretty different. I get that there's going to be scratch marks in here that are reminiscent to the Freddy Krueger, but at the end of the day, this still is a different palette. You're going to have more green tones and more olive tones in the Freddy Krueger versus the Jacob palette. Jacob palette has definitely more neutral tones in here with those more pops of earthy browns found in this palette versus the Freddy Krueger. So I just kind of wanted to do a comparison right here because I saw some of you guys saying this is the exact same palette. I also did see people comparing it to the Halloween 2 palette. They're pretty different in color schemes for sure, but I definitely just wanted to kind of show it side by side. You guys can see how, yes, there may be some similar colors, but they're definitely different overall. Next, we do have the Breaking Dawn. This is the Team Edward palette. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I did love Edward. I loved Edward in the book so much. I was 1000% Team Edward until I saw Jacob, and I was like, drooling. Let me just clean this up right here. Okay, I grew up with Taylor Lautner, and while I did not care for him in Lava Girl and Shark Boy, when he became that man and took off his shirt and just, oof, in the rain, oh, my teenage hormones could not resist that man. Okay, so anyway, so this is gonna be Team Edward. Channel the immortal allure of Edward Cullen with the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 x GLAMLITE Team Edward palette. Inspired by the timeless romance and mystery of the film, this 15-shade collection blends sultry reds, enigmatic grays, and complementary muted tones, perfectly capturing Edward's brooding elegance and unfaltering devotion to Bella. Each shade is crafted with highly pigmented velvet formula that glides on effortlessly, allowing you to create looks as memorizing as Edward's golden eyes. Again, so when you open this up, you are going to have that beautiful lenticular motion feel. You're going to have Edward, and then you're going to also see a more up-close version of Edward right here. So it's like Edward, 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 Edward. And it says no measure of time with you will be, and it says no measure of time with you will be long enough, but let's start with forever. Oh my God, that's so freaking sweet. Oh my gosh. So this is going to be the color story right here. Now, so many of you guys had a lot to say when it came to this particular color story. I've seen so many of you guys say that this looks exactly like the Ghostface Remastered palette. I don't have that palette. However, after I saw those comments, I went and bought that palette off the TikTok shop to do a comparison. Unfortunately, it's not going to be here until April 3rd, so I cannot compare it right here. But I do have a beautiful photo to show you guys. One of my amazing subscribers, Beauty with Renee, sent this over to me. So thank you so much, Renee. Go check her out. I'll have her linked down below. She was so kind enough to put this palette side by side. You guys can definitely see there are similarities between the shades, but at the same time, they are different. When it came to the Ghostface Remaster, you're going to have more bright, bold reds. This is going to have more pomegranate berry tone reds, and this also has more purples in here and a little bit more pops of color versus the Ghostface Remastered palette. So I definitely want to show you guys that there are some similar shades when it comes to the color story, but there are some differences as well. But I will say, definitely for me, when I first saw this, I was kind of like, I don't really see how this is Edward. Like, I guess when I picture Edward, I picture those beautiful, like, golden color eyes. I picture his house in the woods. I picture elegance. And then I keep trying to think of what the vampire represents. And this does make sense. For the longest time, they did have red eyes. It has a more dark, brooding character. Like, if you guys were to ever read Midnight Sun from Edward's perspective, oh my God, y'all, I read that and I was like, wow, Edward's a little whiny bitch. I'm sorry. I love him, but I was reading it going, oh my God, this man could talk. You know what I mean? It was so different from reading it from Bella's perspective. I prefer Bella's perspective personally, but I could definitely see where this does come into play. Now, you guys actually do have to remember that Giselle created this color story with us. Like, she created this color story with all of her consumers voting shades, voting names, and Stephanie Meyer had to approve every single shade, every single name. She had a heavy part in picking this as well. So this might have been her vision of what she envisioned Edward to be. So for me, I could see where it could definitely work out, but I'm excited to play with it to really get a feel of it. So with that said, I'm going to do one eye Team Jacob, one eye Team Edward. Then we're going to play the lips and the highlighters. And I'll give you guys my first impression on this collection. I feel like I rambled on in the beginning. I am so sorry. I just really wanted to let you know that I have been seeing your guys' comments all over my page, in my DMs, on my videos of how you guys felt about the Edward palette in particular. And I just wanted to make sure I did my due diligence of trying to compare them as best as possible. I wish I had the Ghostface Remastered palette right here to show you guys, but it is on the way. I did order it. I did finally order it. Just because you guys know I'm not a big red lover when it comes to eyeshadow. It's just not my forte. But I bought it specifically for you guys. So now we're gonna go into my lover's palette, which is Team Jacob. I am Team Jacob all the way. I always have been. But to be fair, in my defense, I love wolves. Wolves are my absolute favorite animal in the entire world. I don't think I've ever really talked about this here. This palette is so beautiful. I'm going to go into the shade right here called Loyal. Yeah, Loyal. And we're going to run this along our crease area. I don't think I've ever really talked about this here, but for the longest time, Corey and I actually used to go camping at a wolf preserve, and we would sit there and we get to howl with the wolves. I get to take photos with them. I get to interact with them. Forrest the Kissing Wolf was one of my absolute favorite. I'll see if I can put in some clips for you guys. But I absolutely love going to Wolf Sanctuary. This place was amazing because it's a nonprofit organization, and so any single money that you spend there goes back to the wolves and the wild animals there as well. They also had foxes. They had skunks. They had raccoons. It was a beautiful nonprofit organization called in Chipley, Florida, called Seacrest Wolf Preserve. I absolutely love it. I would love to go back. And so wolves have been my favorite animals since I was a child. And so for me, I'm a little biased just because I love wolves so much. So if I were in Bella's position, as much as it'd be cool to like be a vampire and live forever and have immortal strength and beauty and never have to like mortal strength and beauty and you don't age and people just love the way you smell and taste and look everything, I'd still would want to be with Edward. I mean, I'd still want to be with Jacob because I would want to be with a wolf. I would try to find a way to turn into a wolf myself. Like, can you turn me into a wolf? Plus, well, I'm never gonna get over that scene of him standing in the rain with the shirt off. Ooh. I'm just going to leave that there and we're going to softly blend that out. Now, I did see a lot of comments saying that you guys were kind of disappointed that this was not a wedding theme palette because you guys said that this movie centered around the wedding. It did, but it didn't. Like, you gotta remember, like, the first 30 minutes definitely focused on her getting married, but the whole movie was about her slowly making a transfer, like, her slowly, you know, saying goodbye to her human life and becoming a vampire and a mom. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it, well, it's also been out for, like, I don't know, ever. I don't know how long it's been out for. By the way, y'all, in August or September, it marks the 20th anniversary of Twilight, by the way. I just want to point that out. It's been out for almost 20 years, the book. I feel so old. Okay, so that color laid down really nicely. I'm going to go into phasing to help to blend that out a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I get why you guys were like, oh, we kind of wish this was a wedding collection because the wedding theme box, wedding theme packaging, and breaking down part 1. I totally understand where you guys are coming from. This collection would make more sense as maybe breaking down part 2 personally because of like the color story of the palettes and the outside design. But at the same time, I kind of like that it's kind of like a mix. It kind of feels like a mix of both for me. It feels like a mix of the wedding from the keepsake box to the packaging, and then you have the colors on the inside kind of representing who the characters really are and their transformation throughout the movie, and just a little bit of Breaking Dawn Part 2. That's kind of like the vibe that I get. I hope it makes sense, because I feel like in my head it made sense saying it out loud, but then after I start talking, I'm like, did that even make sense at all? I just went back in that first shade just to kind of deepen up, and I'm going to go back into that second shade to just blend it even more. But I hope it makes sense. Like, I get why she did the wedding collection, and like I said, it would have been really cool if this was a wedding, like true wedding theme, but at the same time, it also makes sense because it kind of just fixed the characters as a whole, because the movie doesn't just focus on the wedding, it also focuses on Bella's transformation, Jacob's transformation, even Edward's. Edward was so against her turning and whatnot. So you can kind of see all the characters like transformation throughout this movie. I think it's actually really cool. I really liked Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1. All right, I'm going to go into the shade right here called Telepathy. And we're going to lay that right next to that green because I feel like it'd be so beautiful. Oh, that's such a gorgeous shade. We're going to put this right here. Now, you could definitely lay down some glitter glue for this to pop even more, but I think GLAMLITE shimmers really perform well on their own, so that's why I don't use glitter glue. But if you want to have a little bit more extra pop, I definitely recommend doing so. Now, you guys know that GLAMLITE is like the makeup brand for when it comes to horror makeup launches. I would love for them to start dipping their toes in like the gaming world. If they can create like a Last of Us collection, oh guys, I would be so obsessed. The Last of Us is my absolute favorite games of all time, and it's been so popular now that since it's been on HBO. And I would just really love to see a makeup brand like GLAMLITE do that franchise justice. Oh, the way I'd be in such heaven. Okay, I'm gonna take the shade right here called Shapeshifter. This is actually gonna be a duochrome. Do you guys see? Like, it's so pretty. Like, so pretty. We're going to put that literally right here. And then I'm going to take the shade called Guardian, but it also says Jacob, but I kind of already got the name wiped away. It's this beautiful golden shade. And we're going to put that right here. I'm also going to take a little bit of imprint. This has like a tiny bit of gold reflex to it, a little bit of that. Tap that right here to add just a little bit of extra sparkle. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna let it be messy because I'm gonna finish cleaning up before I put the lashes. I will take the shade called Devotion right here, and we're gonna use that to line my upper waterline. You guys know that I do not like doing liquid liner just because I'm not the biggest fan of it. So we're just gonna take this, we're gonna stamp this in. And then on the bottom, we're going to focus a lot on those browns to try to capture the essence of La Push. I'm trying to use as much shades as I can while capturing the essence of La Push as well as Jacob. Okay, now going into Edward's palette, I'm going to go in the shade right here called Voltaire. You know, so funny is I remember the first time I ever read this palette, I was in 10th grade. I remember being in my criminal justice class because I remember back in high school, for some reason they would have you take elective classes to like fill up your hours for graduation, right? So I would take criminal justice. I really did enjoy that class, but my teacher, he was a retired cop, and honestly, he preferred just putting on like body cam videos and like court videos versus actually teaching, because he would sit there, drink his coffee, and then take a nap. It happened all the time. So for me, I took that as an opportunity to read. And I remember I used to be a TA for my library at my school. So I stumbled upon this book called Twilight. I was like, what is this? I've never read this before. So I picked it up and I was like, oh, okay, it's about vampires. It had just like recently come out. So I started to read it in my criminal justice class. And I remember thinking, holy shit, this book is good. Like, I didn't want to put it down. I became obsessed with this book. Like, I thought it was so good. It was like the first true book that I had read that captured my attention the way that it had in a long time. Like, normally books that captured my attention at that time like that was like Harry Potter. Harry Potter would draw me in. I wouldn't read anything else but Harry Potter, right? Like, that's the only thing I focused on. And back then it was so much easier to read because I was a teenager and I didn't have responsibilities besides do homework and, well, just exist, essentially. So I really dove into Twilight, and I was obsessed. And then I found out that book 2, New Moon, was coming out not too long after it, and then I found out New Moon was coming out, so I had to wait for that to launch. I remember I went to Walden Books when that launched to pick it up. I made my parents take me there, and I absolutely devoured that book. Now let me tell you, when the scene happened, this is so stupid, okay? When the scene happened where Edward broke up with Bella, I visibly got upset. I got upset like he was breaking up with me. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, he's literally breaking up with me. I was like, now I have to read this whole book without him. Are you freaking kidding me? I was pissed. I shut that book. I was like, I'm not reading this shit. You know, I was like, I'm not reading this. I was so upset. You know, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Now, mind you, I did not really have boyfriends back when I was in high school. I focused way too much on my studies. It's probably also why I got a free ride to college. But I focused a lot on my studies, so I didn't really understand the pain of a breakup, but I sure as heck did understand that pain that was happening at that moment, because I was like, this is like crazy. Like, truly crazy. We're going to have to read this. But then as you start reading the characters, like, I started to fall in love with, I started to fall in love with Jacob. You know, he truly was taking away Bella's pain, and I absolutely love that. I'm going to go in the shade right here called Lion. I love that. He really started to take away her pain. Like, he really started making things a little bit easier for her, you know, bearable. There's a Kelsey Ballerini song called To the Man Who Loves Woman After Heartbreak. I truly think that that song would capture Jacob, because the way that he loved her, even though he knew that she was in love with somebody else, like, I thought it was so sweet, so endearing, and I truly wish that she would have just given him a chance. Personally, I wish she would have just given him a chance, because I could definitely have seen them working out. There was no doubt in my mind that she wasn't, like, falling for him without her actually realizing. And the reason why I say this is I'm going to tell you guys a story that I never really talk about on here. My friends in real life know this story, and so does Corey. But there was a time that, you know, I've been open about this before. Corey and I broke up for 8 months, 7-8 years ago, because I wanted to date other people. You know, I've been with him since I was 18. I wanted to date other people. I wanted to see what else was out there. I thought maybe I'm missing out. And anyway, when I realized that, you know, I'm going back in that first shade again. I realized that, you know what, the light, you know, grass isn't always greener on the other side. Maybe this isn't what I want. Maybe what I was looking for, I had all along. So I tried going back to Corey. And at that point, Corey was like, I moved on. I don't want to be with you. And he would start dating somebody else. And that was absolutely devastating for me. Like, devastating for me. And that's in that moment I understood exactly what kind of like Bella felt in that moment, because I lost the one thing that I truly knew and loved. I lost the one greatest thing that had ever happened to me was Corey, because I thought the grass is greener on the other side. And in reality, sometimes it is, but most often than not, it's green where you choose to water it, right? So I had to do it on my own. I had to do it on my own for 8 months. And there was this guy friend that I had who was there for me like no other. Like, he was truly there for me. You know, he was going through his own breakup with his girl at the time, and we just became such good friends. And I remember there was a point in time, this is blending out so nicely. There was a point in time where he had asked me if he could take me on a date. Now, that completely floored me, because I genuinely did not expect that. And at the same time, I thought, I don't want to ruin our friendship. But I was starting to develop feelings for this man. I was like, I think I'm starting to like him, because like I slowly stopped thinking about Corey every minute of every day. And I'd start to wake up and I'd think about this other guy who was there for me and who was an amazing friend in my life, and who had like picked up all the pieces that I, you know, destroyed. He when I built up that Lego set, I knocked it all down. He helped build up those pieces. He was truly incredible, truly there for me in a way that I did not expect someone else to be. You know, he never judged me for crying about Corey or anything like that. That blended out so nicely, by the way. So, these I've read. I'm going to go into Mind Reader right here. So, he really just helped to pick up those pieces. And I really started, like I said, I started to develop feelings for him. And I knew that I did not want to be one of those people that just jumped straight into a relationship and go straight into let's be together and stuff like that, because it would not be fair for him, for me to date him, but knowing that my heart belonged to another man. So I declined his offer, and I said, I really do enjoy hanging out with you, but I just need you to give me time. And it was in that moment that I finally understood where Bella had come from, because Bella is like, you know, when it came to Jacob, like, I just need more time. Like, she kept telling him, like, just give me time. Like, give me time. I can get there. I can get there with you. Just give me time, because she was still hurt and in love with somebody else the same exact way that I was. So that's when I finally, like, I don't know, realized what she had truly meant in that moment. We ended up never going out because I just knew that I needed to focus on me. And he was very, very kind and very respectful. And eventually whenever Corey and I got together a long time after that, I did tell him. And, you know, instead of being like, oh, you know, screw this guy, I don't ever want to be friends with him, Corey was actually really sweet and understood my relationship with him. And even though this guy and I do not talk anymore the way that we used to, he's still someone that's always going to be special to me because he helped me get through one of the hardest times in my life, and I'll be forever grateful for him for that. I'm going to go into the shade right here called Renesmee, this gorgeous, gorgeous purple shade. And he really just helped me get through that dark time, and I will always be forever appreciative of it. And yeah, and you know, and Corey understood, and Corey respected my relationship, which I really do, and Corey respected my friendship with him, and never tried to stop me from being friends with him again. It was just a really sweet man, and you know, it made me understood Bella and Edward and Jacob's relationship a lot more. You know, at the end of the day, he couldn't dismiss the fact that he was there for her. You know, he helped build up all those pieces that he crumbled. You know what I mean? All right, then I'm gonna go into Century. This is a duochrome. It's just between like a blue purple green. So pretty. And we're gonna put that right next to that purple shade. You see, I kind of change that purple a little bit. And then I'm gonna go into the shade right here called Diamond. This beautiful, beautiful white silver shade. And we're gonna take this, we're gonna put this right here. See, I think this palette, I think this eye color, I think this definitely makes the palette kind of stand out a little bit more, showing that it's definitely different from the Ghostface Remastered, because that definitely has a lot more purpley blue, definitely has a little bit more purpley blue plum undertones to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean this eye up, and we're going to put this shade right here called Forks, and we're going to line our upper waterline with that. I'm going to put on my false lashes, come back with my makeup done, and we're going to do the highlight and the lip kit together. Okay, so now that the makeup is on, we're going to finish off the eyes before we move into the rest of the face. So I'm going to go back into that Jacob palette. I'm actually going to go into the shade right here called La Push. And we're going to use this to run along our waterline, and then we're going to softly diffuse it out. I have to say, I'm actually quite impressed with the Edward palette. I don't really know what I was looking for when I first went into it. Like, I started to play with that like beautiful plum red, but it just slowly transformed into this really beautiful like purple eye look. I think it's really, really, really gorgeous. So we're just going to lay the shade down right here like so. And then I'm going to take the shade called Pack right here, or Pack, and we're going to use that to blend out. Okay, and then for Edward, I think for this eye, I want to go in Voltaire one more time to line underneath my waterline, and we're going to use a different shade, maybe like a gray shade, to blend that out a little bit. So we're going to go right here. We're going to lightly stamp this underneath our waterline. That's such a pretty shade. Surprisingly enough, that plum purple shade. Plum, it's like a plum pomegranate looking shade. It's really beautiful. And then I'm gonna blend it out with a shade right here called Thirst. Oh my god, these are so pretty. Okay, so now the eyes are done, we're gonna move on to the highlighters. So this is gonna be the GLAMLITE X Breaking Dawn. This is gonna be the I Do highlighter. It says, say I do to the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn X Part 1 GLAMLITE Wedding Highlighter. This ultra blinding formula delivers an ethereal glow perfect for capturing the magic of Bella and Edward's wedding day. Whether you want a soft shimmer or a radiant spotlight effect, this highlighter ensures you shine as brilliantly as their internal love. So first off, the outside packaging is super freaking cute. This is going to be another lenticular motion product. I'll meet you at the altar, and then you're going to have Bella and Edward. Super, super cute. You open it up and it's going to say, I do right here. Super shiny, high shine highlighter. Very beautiful. So let me go ahead and put this on. I think I'm going to use this as a inner corner highlight moment as well. Okay, so as you guys can see, this definitely has high pigmentation to it. I think it looks really beautiful. I would not mind having it be ultra shiny like this. I want to shine. I want to walk outside and then go, oh my god, is Allie a vampire? You're gonna be like, yes. You're like, no bitch, it's her highlighter. You know, that's exactly what I want. That is beautiful. It has a little bit of a shift to it, which I did not expect. It has like a little bit of a blue purple shift, but it kind of works out really nicely. Like, it's gorgeous. All right, and I'm also going to use this as an inner corner moment for both eyes and the brow bone highlight. Oh god, it just works out so well as that. Last but not least, we have Edward Lip Kit right here. So this says, Capture Edward's smoldering allure with this 3-part lip kit featuring a precision lip liner, richly pigmented lipstick, and an ultra shine gloss in deep burgundy red. This set brings the passion of Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 1 to life. Define, color, and shine with a look that's timeless as Edward and Bella's love. So if you guys do not know, when it comes to GLAMLITE, their lip kits are the most viral thing over on TikTok, and they have it right here. There's going to be a black lip liner, a red lipstick, and a beautiful ultra red gloss. I am so excited to try this out. All right, let's go in lip liner. Wow, that is very precise. I'm gonna fill in like right between. I'm trying to do something a little different, but we'll see. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. All right, I'm gonna blend that really fast. Okay, so it's not working the way that I want it to because the lipstick is too creamy. So all it's doing is just picking up that black lip liner and just kind of spreading it everywhere. So I kind of wish the lipstick wasn't as creamy as it is because it's just not working the way that I want it to. And when I try blending with my finger, all it does is it lifts it away. So all it does is makes my lip look really dirty. So I'm going to take that off and we're going to do this again. Okay, let's try this again. We're just going to outline my lips this time. We're just going to fill them in with the lipstick. I did have to kind of wipe this off because like I said, it kind of captures the black a little bit with it, which I'm not really used to. So it is a really pretty color. I just wish it didn't grab onto the lip liner like it did. So let's try this again. So for me, the lipstick is just a little bit too muddy. It's a pretty color, but I just feel like it just wants to grab that lip liner for some reason and kind of drag it across it. And the second I tried blending out my fingers, it does kind of dissipate a little bit. So I'm not really the biggest fan of the lipstick, but let's see if the lip gloss can help to save it. I haven't had any problems like this before with previous lip kits, but for some reason this one is just being a little bit of a pain. But now we're gonna go into the lip gloss. Okay, so this is the final lip right here. I will say, I think it's a beautiful combination. However, I will say the lip liner is a little bit creamy. So mixing a creamy lip liner with an ultra creamy lipstick, I found it to be kind of muddy. I found the lip liner did kind of pick up the second I put that lipstick down and they kind of blended together looking a little muddy. But the second I put that lip gloss on, it just like tied it all together. It looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm surprised with like how it actually matches this eye look. I did not expect that. Before I zoom out, we have one final touch. Since I did not get the setting spray, we have to go in with the One Size Glitter setting spray. I have to be like the Cullens, okay? I need to glitter. I need to look like I have the skin of a killer when going outside. So let's go ahead and spray the face with this, and we're just gonna pretend that this is the spray that they have in their collection. Okay, now that I have the skin of a killer, y'all, look at how beautiful this is. I did not expect it to turn out as nicely as it did. So with that said, let me go ahead and zoom on out and I'll give you guys my thoughts on this collection. Okay, I got that glitter spray all over my shirt. Did not expect that, but you can definitely see the glitter effect right here. I was supposed to go to the store after this, and you know what? Maybe I still will. I'll just be like, I'm living out my Twilight fantasies. So I'm going to quickly do a quick rundown. First off, we have the Team Edward and Team Jacob palettes. First off, the Team Jacob, I love the outside packaging. I think it's beautiful. I think this does a beautiful job at capturing the essence of Jacob and the La Push area. I think it's a beautiful earthy neutral tone palette. You guys can create so many different beautiful neutral eye looks with this. I went in the more greeny eye because I love the way the greens look, and it kind of matches like the forest of La Push, which is where Jacob and his whole family's from. And I have to say, I think that's beautiful. I could see this being like a great neutral palette for so many people out there, along with some pops of colors. I think she did such a wonderful job with this one. I absolutely love it. But the one that kind of took me by surprise, which I did not expect to love, honestly, was the Edward palette. The reason being is that you guys know I'm not a red fan. Like, I'm just really not a red fan. And some of you guys kind of had me kind of questioning it when you guys said this looks so much like the, you said it looks so much like the Ghostface palette. But after playing with this, y'all, this palette is beautiful. I actually like this eye look more than I like this eye look. I think this palette is beautiful. It's very versatile. You can do definitely beautiful, cool, smoky tone, gray, black eyeshadow looks. You could do purple, you could do red, you could even do some multi-chrome greens in here. It's a very versatile palette compared to what I thought it originally was. I think it's really beautiful. And after playing with this, I could definitely see where she captures the essence of the Cullens family as a whole, the Volturi, the vampires, Edward, all that's going to be captured in here. It is such a beautiful palette, very different from what I originally expected. I actually really love this one, and I kind of love it a little bit more than the Jacob one, and I'm Team Jacob. But I have to say, this one really took me by surprise. I love it. Plus, the packaging on these are absolutely beautiful. And then we do have the highlighter right here. The highlighter is just gorgeous. Like, look at that shine. That highlight is gorgeous. Like, you can literally see me beaming from the heavens. It is beautiful. I love that high shine. This is one of those highlighters that you can definitely just kind of build up to have such a beaming high shine the way that I have right here. I love highlighters like this. It's very wet looking. It's very luminous, and I just think it's really beautiful. And you definitely get the vibe of like Skin of a Killer. Without it being called Skin of a Killer, you kind of get that vibe with it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Then we do have the lip kit. I will say the color is really beautiful. I'm not the biggest fan of the lip kit, only because I had a little bit more difficulty compared to so many of the lip kits out there. I just found that the lip liner and the lipstick, I don't know if it's just because the way that I did it or what, but I found that they just kind of gripped each other and it got really muddy pretty fast. So this is kind of be like a learning curve for me to get this to work. I don't like the fact that the lipstick really just kind of grabbed that lip liner and got super muddy, but then when I tried to like blend it out with my finger or even like a brush, it just looked like it started to disappear. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but the gloss really did kind of save the day. I do feel like they kind of dropped the ball. I feel like they should have done a Team Edward lip kit as well. Like when you have the ColourPop, you have the Voltaire lip kit, but then you also have Jacob's lip kit right here. It would have been really cool for them to do a Jacob lip kit where they could have had a brown lip liner, like a neutral brown a neutral brown lipstick with like maybe like a golden gloss. Like that could have been so iconic if they had like a nice golden gloss or even like a green gold to kind of capture the essence of the push. That would have been so cool for them to do Edward and Jacob, or even like a wedding one, you know what I mean? But I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on that. But overall, it's still really pretty lip kit nonetheless. I do really like the mirror. I think the mirror is just beautiful, along with the makeup bag right here. I think the makeup bag is stunning. Like I said, I'm surprised that I got this. I genuinely did not expect this. So I thought that was actually really cool. The only thing I don't have is the setting spray. And then we have to take a moment to appreciate this box right here. I know some of you guys were kind of tired of the Lynn Tickler Motion box, but this is absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that this is like a wedding box. You can put so many different great memories in here. It is so beautiful with that silk linen. I think this is really gorgeous. A really, really nice touch for GLAMLITE. So this entire collection is going to be available right now. You guys can buy the entire collection, including the PR box, for $169, or you guys can buy the full collection for $150. You guys can use code Allie D to save you guys 15% off. And as someone who is a huge GLAMLITE fan, but also a Twilight fan, I think they did such a wonderful job. I am very impressed with this collection. I know that Giselle and the team have been working on it for so long, and I think what I love most about this collection is that we as consumers got to have input. We got to help with the shade names, the colors, what we wanted to see in here. I thought that was actually so cool that she was doing this. This was their most anticipated collection of the year, and it's finally here, and I think they did such a wonderful job. I'm still really impressed with this. Yeah, I really like it. So with that said, GLAMLITE, thank you guys so much for sending this my way. I love it. I've been talking about this for months, and it's finally here, and I really love the look that I created. With that said, guys, that is it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure you guys give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, because I do post 3 to 4 videos every single week. Make sure you guys head over to my other channels, R for Life. You guys get to see my cool, wonderful adventures, my amazing husband, Corey. And as always, the biggest thank you goes to these beautiful, wonderful Patreon members you guys see right here. Thank you guys so much for everything. And to my subscribers and viewers, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys like this video, you guys thumbs down this video, you guys subscribed, you guys did not subscribe, either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys in the very next video.